Hello and welcome. Fireworks reaches you today from the National Assembly, Abuja, which will pretty much form the subject of discussion today. Like previous assembly, the 8th assembly is famous, or if you like, infamous for a lot of things. But unlike previous assembly, this 8th assembly stands out in terms of party distribution. How has this factor affected major developments shaping the 8th Assembly? We'll be talking to who should know from the National Assembly today. But first, let's take a short break during which we'll take a peek into his bio, and we'll be right back. I am Bukola Samuel Wemimo. Stay with us. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Fireworks. I have with me the Senate leader, Senator Ali Ndume. Thank you for your time, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Buki. You're welcome.
Yes, we're going to start looking at your political career. Of course, it dates well beyond your stint as lawmaker representing Chibok at the House of Representatives level. But let's start from that point where you move from the NPP to the PDP. I always like to look at public office holders' transition from party to party, because pretty much you get to know who they really are based on the reasons for their movement. So let's start with that.
Well, my movement from ANPP then to PDP was really circumstantial. I had issues with my former governor then, now the controversial chairman of PDP, Ali Sharif, on coming to Senate.
Controversial.
Yeah. I call it controversial. You know better now as a newsman. As at that time, my people want me to come to Senate, and I was not very keen about it. But politics is you answer a call to the public request. My people really wanted me to contest for Senate when I was in the House of Rep. And my governor then, Ali Sharif, didn't want me to contest for Senate because he was coming to Senate, and I think he didn't like somebody like me to come to Senate with him, being the type of person I am, a teacher, outspoken, and that extrovert person. But all that is history now. That was what actually led me to leave ANPP, because he wanted to muzzle me out, not getting the ticket from ANPP. And my people now said, look, move over to PDP and contest there. So I moved to PDP less than 100 days to election. And I really didn't want to go to PDP. Let me confess this. I preferred to contest in CPC then, because CPC was a product more of ANPP, because the split of ANPP then, with Buhari moving out, and I'm one of the key followers of Buhari. But then there was no CPC on ground in Borno. I didn't have the resource to build a party from the scratch. So, and the fact that PDP was government at the center then, my people requested that I should contest on the platform of PDP. That was how I came into PDP, and the candidate stepped down for me.
So because of those injustices, you left the NPP.
I left ANPP.
Now,
for PDP.
you had served for 8 years under the All Nigeria People's Party as a lawmaker. And of course, you benefited from that party. Now, when your house is on fire, do you leave and go to your neighbor's house whose house is not on fire?
It was not like your house is on fire. These are different things. It's like,
or you try to rebuild, renovate your own house?
Just wait a minute. Let me put it out to you clean. You are in a house, that is your own house, or your own father's house, let's say, and suddenly for disagreement within the family, and it's raining, for example, and you're pushed out, you go into your neighbor's house. And when the reign is over, probably.
So what happens to your father's house? Your inheritance?
No, I came back to my father's house. I went to, virtually, I was on sabbatical leave in PDP. I was just there for one term. And immediately I found myself in PDP. I was not even, I went through all sorts of harassment immediately because of my nature. I didn't fit in well into PDP. You know that from the word go. So I had to leave. Fortunately, the formation, the merger of the 3 or 4 political parties that formed the APC came on board. And when it was going on, we formed the new PDP out of the PDP and merged with the APC. And here I am again by the grace of God.
So what really is politics about? Is it about the politicians' interest?
No, not only that.
Because when politicians want to move from one party to another,
let me put it
at
this
that
way.
point of transition, it appears as if it's more about their interest. You didn't get the ticket to go to
getting the ticket is not winning
National
election.
Assembly, and then the upper chamber, and then you left.
But getting ticket is not winning election. I contested against somebody in PDP. I contested against 9 people. There are some. I contested against somebody from SDP too. So it's not a matter of interest. Even if you get interest, if people don't like you, do you win? You don't. Especially with the improvement in our electoral system, use of PVC, you contest election if people are not up. But one thing that is happening in this country is we don't have political parties purely, so to say, because they are not formed on differentiated ideologies or manifesto. If you talk about, even recently, if you talk about APC, you talk about PDP, you talk about ABGA, it's just by name. But you can't say this political party is socialist-oriented or this political party is
But if we don't have political
capitalist.
parties, politicians should take responsibility for that. Shouldn't politicians, public office holders be the ones to generate healthy ideologies for their parties?
It's just an evolution. Political parties, evolution is coming up. Like now, PDP is looking more as conservative, capitalist party, and people would had ideas and all that. And now, APC is molding to be more of a progressive party that have the interests of the masses more as a priority than those of the elites are secondary. And that is now, if you look at PDP again, in this country, they are more of a party that have the interest of elites as its priority, and then the interest of the masses as its secondary priority, right? A secondary objective. So I'm thinking that with time, it will come out to see that a party like APC will be more of a socialist party, pro-people, progressive, as it is now, and another party for the conservatives or the capitalists, so to say. But when that comes, until that comes, the evolution will continue. You see, it started just like by name, PDP, ANPP, and people moving around. But then now you discover that even if you move around, you have to stay with people that you have like minds. So that will evolve over time.
I wonder how long that evolution will take. But now let's make progress and look at this present government, your own government's anti-corruption war. What are your thoughts on the trials at the courts so far and the results or the lack of it that Nigerians are seeing?
Well, this is a new thing virtually. Nobody ever thought that the government will be consistent and will be able to confront this monster which has eaten up almost every part of this country, which is everywhere in the country. But we are lucky to have a leader. We have a President Muhammad Buhari in the person who is a very responsible leader, whose integrity is not in question, who has credibility, and he has built credibility for this country back all over the world, who is known to be very transparent in his dealing, who is known to be detribalized in the conduct. That is the fortunate leader that we have at this time. And our people say when the head is okay, the rest of the body will be saved. And that is what is happening now. So most of us that are in the line of leadership in this country will have to fall in place and key into the fight against corruption.
So you have keyed into the fight against corruption?
Of course.
As far as the Senate president's trial is concerned, have you keyed into that fight?
The issue of the Senate president is not corruption issue, so to say.
So what's it about?
It's about asset declaration. You understand? There's the difference there. But although I don't want to so much go into a subject, the case is before the court. But the charges against the Senate president is that there is problem or falsification in the declaration of his assets in 2003.
But you are saying that is not necessarily...
No, I didn't say it is not, I'm not defining it
in the class of anti-corruption, of the anti-corruption war. His trial doesn't fall in the class of the anti-corruption war.
No, that is not what I'm saying.
Okay.
You are trying to say that is corruption. You are trying to classify it. I say I'm not in the position to do that. And that has nothing to do with the fight against corruption. He is charged for an offense in 2003 of false declaration or whatever. If he had declared, nobody would have asked him. If he had declared, it's different from saying if you have stolen money somewhere and you return it. That does not invalidate the criminality. But if you didn't, the court case now is saying that you have so houses that you did not declare. If you had declared, or if he had the opportunity to say, oh, sorry, because I have so many houses, I forgot this one, and you adjust the declaration, it would have been a different thing entirely. I think I don't want us, as I said, because the case is sub judice, I don't want us to overflow.
From what you have said,
but that is my understanding, because I'm not a lawyer.
From what you have said, it's clear where you stand. But would I be safe to also say that?
Clear with what I stand on.
Say that you are in support. You are on the Senate president's side, where this trial is concerned, where his current travail is concerned.
No,
are you standing with the Senate president and by the Senate president?
I don't understand that, but what I know is that the Senate president is not going through trial, and Section 35 of our Constitution, or 36, clearly states that you are presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt by a competent court of law.
Fine.
Until that is done, I look at the Senate president as an innocent Nigerian, because
Fine.
That is what the Constitution, which I swore to protect, defend, and protect says.
Fine. So do you believe the Senate president's trial is political?
No, I don't.
It's not political?
I don't. I don't want to believe that.
You don't believe that it's tied to somehow his emergence as Senate president, considering that your party was fielding another candidate?
Well, I don't want to believe that, honestly, because I'm part of the leadership that emerged, that is not at the beginning the party's choice, so to say. I'm the Senate leader. The party initially preferred another person to be the Senate leader, but we in the Senate who are supposed to, constitutionally given the privilege and the right.
Did you support the Senate's president's emergence to that position during the...
No, okay, you are not following. I was one of those, I aspired to the office of the Senate president. But we had our group, we formed what we call the like minds.
Like minds? The
like minds agreed that if the Senate presidency is zoned to North Central, we will support one of our own group member from North Central. Or if it is zoned to Northeast, then I was to be considered, and along with Goje and Binta, three of us, one of us would have emerged as the Senate. Then when we got the feeler from confirmation even, so to say, because I was part of the leadership that went to the chairman to ask, where have they zoned the Senate presidency? And he categorically then told us it's North Central. So we say, okay. Saraki, who is leading in the North Central then, as part in our group, was endorsed to be the Senate president's candidate. And I was nominated to be the Deputy Senate President. That was the agreement of our party. And you know, so many water have passed under the bridge now.
Which party fielded Senator Ahmed Lawan?
The same APC, our party leadership of the party supported Army Allowance Group. But when we came and election was conducted at Saraki, which is supported by our group, part of APC, emerged the Senate president.
So you supported the Senate president's emergence
of course,
at that
I contested
time.
for his deputy, and I lost to Okere Madu. So I'm part of the Saraki group.
So do
In
you?
fact, I'm a leader. I'm a leading member of the Saraki group.
So
or the like minds group.
okay, interesting. So
Yes.
do you see the party's influence, its demands, its requirement on leadership positions in the Senate as overbearing?
No. That was in the beginning. We have gone through that. That happened last year. Oh no, in June last year. And we have passed through that. The leadership, we have settled that problem.
Let's make progress. How do you, it is, popular that you are the face of government as far as the National Assembly is concerned, in terms of budgetary matters.
Budgetary bills.
Yes, and all of that. You have been the face of the government. How do you reconcile this key role that you're playing with your support for the Senate President in his travail?
Well, I don't know where this interest comes from.
It seems as though...
Is there any conflict there?
You tell us. It seems as though you are for Buhari and you are also for the Senate President.
Yeah, if you want to put it that way. And let me tell you further that Buhari, there are two people that, I don't have political godfather, but I have two political mentors. One is Buhari since 2000. In fact, since 1976, even when he was in the military. Because in 1976, I was in secondary school and he was our governor for Northeast. I come from Northeast. Then in 2002, he came into play politics with APP then, before we changed it to ANPP. So Buhari is one of my political mentors. And recently again, after knowing and interacting with Asiwaju Tinubu, he also became my political mentor and we relate very well. And Saraki is somebody that I knew in 2011 when I came to the Senate. And in 2015, when we emerged in the 8th Senate, we formed a group which is normal, based on interest, to take over the leadership of the Senate. And we happened to be in the same group with Saraki. And Saraki is going through this trial or trial. I am the Senate leader. I have a relationship with the president and Asiwaju and even the party to some extent, because the national chairman, the national secretary, the national chairman, deputy national chairman, North particularly, is my classmate. We went to the same school, high school. He's my friend. So my relationship with them went beyond official and it's even personal. And I want to say here too, that I have a personal relationship with even the president and Asiwaju. And my work in the Senate is to lead. And I think, I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but this is the first, although it's the government of change, this is the first time we have been having it, despite the large number of opposition. This is the first time we have been having our way, always. Because the majority will always have its way, but not with this thin majority that we have. We always have our way. Right from the confirmation of the ministers, you people, the press, media people thought the heaven would fall and that some of them would, particularly like people like Amechi, will not be confirmed. We confirmed for the first time in this democracy of 16 years. So we confirmed all the ministers.
Before we lose sight...
We passed all the bills that are brought by the government. We passed the supplementary budget with additions. We'll find out one. Then, for the first time, despite the problem you people are talking about, it's more of a media thing. This budget that we recently passed, this is the first time we did a collective budget. This is the first time the president scrutinized the budget and looked at each item. We had to agree on it before he signs on to it.
So before we lose sight of the origin or the start of this question, your party doesn't hold it against you that you support the Senate president?
No. But Saraki is a member of APC now. I mean, it's not like Saraki, APC doesn't like Saraki. No.
But rarely, Your Excellency, this National Assembly is only APC majority, but it is more PDP in character, considering the trail of events so far.
What? This is coming from you, Buki, and I am yet to understand this. When you say the Senate is more of PDP in character.
Truly, because it is because of the support of the PDP that the Senate president was able to emerge.
Yes, but has PDP ever had its way in the Senate or even in the National Assembly? Give me one instance that PDP had its way. Or if we had anything from APC government, which I sell as the chief marketer of government policies or bills in the market, is there any one single one that was truncated or that was frustrated?
Perhaps
no,
PDP members in the National Assembly are satisfied with the way the constitution of the standing committees went.
Oh yeah, that one is another thing if you want to say. Let me even clarify on that. PDP happened to get more committees because of the circumstance that we find ourselves. The Constitution requires that even if you make appointments, the appointments must cut across the 36 states and the 6 geopolitical zones. You understand? So when we have 65 committees and we divided it, if it is by zone, it means every zone is supposed to fairly have 10 committees. And we don't have members in South-South, we don't have members in Southeast. So you see, automatically, we'll have 20 members that are not belonging to our party. Otherwise, we'll be breaching the Constitution or will not be fair to exclude our people totally from Southeast and South-South just because they are PDP. They are senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That was what led to the PDP having that number. And I think they have around that number only, 20-something, 20 members of the chairman of the committee. And you know, Boki, that is what our Constitution calls for, fairness. Had it been, we have members of APC in South-South, Southeast, they wouldn't have gotten that number.
Now, let's make progress, Your Excellency. Let's now look at issues of, the fallouts of insurgency in the country. I know that you have been in the forefront of promoting the cause of the IDPs, and indeed you moved a bill that enabled them to vote during the elections. Let's look at the Northeast Development Commission bill. Wow. Which is also generating a debate.
No, it has been generating support.
From your own perspective?
No, not my own. Are you not supporting it?
I think it is inconsequential whether I support the Northeast Development Commission bill or not.
Of course, Buki is on fireworks, so if you support it and we are looking for a support, that will be great. You should endorse the Northeast Development Commission because we need it. The Northeast has been so devastated that you need an established institutional framework that will address the problems.
If you're establishing a commission solely to take care of the Northeast, which in itself
it's not normal circumstance.
Is a genuine feeling, is a genuine need. You're going to need a headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
A commission, a board.
No, but no state has government.
You're going to need a staff to be paid, to work,
yes,
and all of that. Now, in these times when the country is in dire straits, would you rather...
In this time, again, when the country is faced with humongous high rate of unemployment and government is trying to look for an institution that they can employ people, are you not saying that that will provide even an employment avenue for people that need it, that have been devastated?
But if the federal government gave that responsibility to the Ministry of Internal Affairs or special duties, wouldn't it save money?
Many graduates, there are thousands of graduates, so many people out there that don't have job, that government is trying to provide job for them. Now you have an institution to be established to provide job for these people. Now you have an institution or an area, a geopolitical zone that is in dire need. If you are talking about, if it was 6-7 years back when we are at peace in Borno, if you tell us that you are going to establish a commission for us, we will feel it's like you are trying to insult us. But now we are in dire need. That's why we call for that.
But what about the Niger Delta Development Commission? Did it fulfill the purpose of the need that it was established for?
Don't compare us with
Indeed,
Niger
several
Delta.
cases
Niger
of
Delta,
corruption have trailed the NDDC.
Wait, you see, you are talking about corruption. Niger Delta was purely formed in order to settle some people. But Northeast Development Commission is formed purposely to resettle some people.